When the Navy sees something they can't identify, that's cause for concern. Today we've got a multitude of cases to sink our minds into, so let's get into it. On a clear sunny day in April of 2014, two FA-18s took off for an air combat training mission off of the coast of Virginia. The jets, part of Ryan Graves' Navy Fighter Squadron, climbed to an altitude of 12,000 about feet and steered towards Warning Area W72, which was an exclusive block of airspace 10 miles east of Virginia Beach. All traffic into the training area goes through a single GPS point at a set altitude, almost like a doorway into a massive room where military jets can operate without running into other aircraft. Well, just at the moment the two jets crossed the threshold, one of the pilots saw a dark gray cube inside of a clear sphere, motionless against the wind, fixed directly at the entry point. Now these jets, only about 100 feet apart, zipped past the object on either side. The pilots had come so dangerously close to something they couldn't identify that they terminated the training mission immediately and returned to base. We've got a quote, "I almost hit one of those damn things." This was from the fight leader, still shaken by the incident, and he exclaimed this shortly after in the pilot's ready room. Everyone knew exactly what he meant. Those damn things have been plaguing the team for the last 8 months. Initially the objects were showing up on the newly upgraded radars, and folks assumed they were ghosts in the machine or software glitches. But then they began to correlate their radar tracks with multiple surveillance systems, including infrared sensors that detected heat signatures. Then came the hair-raising near misses that required them to take evasive actions. Now these were no balloons. The unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, accelerated at speeds up to Mach 1. The speed of sound. They could hold their position, appearing motionless, despite Category 4 hurricane force winds of 120 knots. They did not have any visible means of lift, control surfaces, or propulsion, so in other words, nothing that resembled normal aircrafts with wings, flaps, or engines, and they outlasted the team's fighter jets, operating continuously throughout the day. Ryan was astounded, because as a formerly trained engineer, the technology demonstrated defied his understanding. So after that near miss, the team had no choice but to submit a safety report, hoping that something could be done before it was too late. But there was no official acknowledgement of what was experienced and no further mechanism to report the sightings, even as other aircrew flying along the East Coast quietly began sharing similar experiences. The only option was to cancel or move the training, as the UAP continued to maneuver in the vicinity unchecked. And to this day, no one knows what those things were in the sky. So when Ryan retired from the Navy in 2019, he was the first active duty pilot to come forward and publicly testify to Congress, being like, "Yo, what's this?" Still don't know. Back in 2018, a video that showed US Navy pilots encountering an unidentified flying object in 2015 got a lot of calls for more research into what those mysterious objects could be. In the video that was released, you can hear one pilot saying, "What the F is that thing? Well, what is that, man? Look at that flying." Now, this footage was released by To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences, which is a private scientific research and media group, which is led by Dr. Hal Puthoff, a NASA and US Department of Defense advisor, and James Semivin, a former US CIA service member. Now, the clip is said to be an authentic Department of Defense video that captures the high-speed flight of an unidentified aircraft at low altitude, and reveals a previously undisclosed Navy encounter that occurred off the East Coast in 2015, according to a statement from the TTSA. Just looking at the video, I have no clue what this could be. Back in January of, I think earlier this year, a video of a UAP from like 2019 resembling a jellyfish had skywatchers, pilots, and experts wondering what the bleep it was. So the buzz was so big that the Pentagon responded, and their response, or lack thereof, only fueled further speculation. Hey, we love a good mystery, and when the government is keeping tight-lipped, spidey senses start to say, sky unknowns. So the video in question was released by investigative journalist Jeremy Corbell. Who was he? Well, he is a prominent figure in the UFO community, known for his work in investigations into UAPs, UFOs, you get the idea. So he said that military pilots captured the footage over a US joint operations base in Iraq around 2018, and according to him, the object was officially designated a UAP by the Pentagon, and the footage was taken with thermographic, forward-looking infrared radar. The official Department of Defense spokesperson Sue Gao stated, "We do not comment on the authenticity of alleged DoD material that may have been leaked." But despite that, she emphasized the DoD's commitment to openness and accountability while balancing the necessity to protect sensitive information, leaving a lot of folks to wonder about the apparent contradiction. Corbell said the reason why they're not at the point able to deny it is because absolutely they're gonna have to confirm it. He emphasized his and journalist George Knapp's 3.5-year effort to develop sources and verify the leaked material, saying, "We have done our due diligence, and our DoD will be put in the corner. They have to be honest with the American public on this video." Now, Michael Chinkowski, a Marine officer who spoke with News Nation, was an intelligence, surveillance, recon tactical controller at the base at the time. Now, he said he was shown the full video and that soldiers didn't know what to make of it. He says the video was taken from an aerostat, which is an intelligence surveillance balloon that looks like a blimp and was over the base, and has cameras on it to keep a lookout for threats. So apparently additional footage of the jellyfish UAP exists, and there's a lot more videos related to the incident. He said in a quote, "There are more videos you're not seeing yet." Like, what he saw made him able to tell inside of the right facility exactly where Senate and the Intelligence Committee can find the rest of the videos. Now, apparently the extended video is approximately 30 minutes long and allegedly shows the UFO's trans-medium capability, its abrupt descent into the water for 17 minutes, and its rapid departure. Hopefully that video makes it to the internet someday. Former United States Navy Admiral Tim Gallaudet says he believes UFO whistleblowers like David Grush are telling the truth about government non-human retrieval missions. So he said, "This technology, we're still trying to learn about it, it could give us an advantage in any military conflict." Now, that's a good reason not to disclose the nature of the technology, and he said that he thinks for the foreseeable future we don't want to release and disclose all of the technology we've recovered. However, he thinks it's about time that they do disclose that they are in contact with non-human intelligence, because that's what the public needs to know. So he mentioned regarding UFOs in general, "We're being visited by non-human intelligence with technology we really don't understand, and with intentions we don't understand either." For context, this 56-year-old oceanographer has served as the Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere within the U.S. Department of Commerce, as well as Acting Undersecretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere, and, another title, Acting Administrator of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. NOAA for short. He also claims to have seen footage of UFOs while he was on active duty in the Navy. And finally for today, the most famous Navy case of all, the Tic Tac. On November 14th of 2004, Lieutenant Alex Dietrich was piloting her FA-18 Super Hornet when she observed this weird little object hovering over water. It leapt into motion, skimming about 500 to 1,000 feet over the waves at about 500 knots, super fast. The fighter jet's onboard radar couldn't detect the object, but Alex's weapons systems operator, who was just hanging out there, also witnessed this crazy little thing. Alex has quoted her recollection as, "We were trying to call out what we were seeing to each other, make sure everybody else is seeing it. It's moving so radically and so fast that our voices, our minds, and that our radio calls just couldn't keep up with it." So Alex, by the way, is actually super duper skilled at recon. So she's specifically trained to be able to identify any kind of aircraft by shape, paint scheme, insignia, and more, and she had no idea what it was. On one of the other Super Hornets that launched that day, behind Alex was Lieutenant Commander Chad Underwood, who was able to capture the object on an infrared camera. So by little, I mean it was only about 40 feet long, round and smooth, and quickly got the nickname Tic Tac because of its size. So yes, there is footage that the US government has confirmed as authentic and unexplained, and it's quite a doozy. So around that same time, starting on November 10th to be exact, Gary Voorhees, a petty officer on the USS Princeton guided missile cruiser, also had some apparitions on his radar screens in the same area. He triple-checked his equipment before he made his report, and since he was the main technician responsible for that, and he had 6 years of Navy training, he was like, "I don't know what I'm seeing, and it's impossible." In just seconds, an object had dropped to the waterline from 60,000 feet, hovered, and then zipped away at high velocity, making right-angle turns that just confounded him and weren't possible. And these objects returned for the next week, and he was like, "I saw it during the night, during the day. Could I tell you what it was? Absolutely not." And that's it for me once again, folks. I've been Alexa, your resident ookie spooky girly. See y'all next time, you lovely spooky people.